Amazing to have you guys here today. To get started, I think the question on most of our minds is a lot of creators are producing content for a while as a passion project before they really hit that viral success. But for you, Ethan, it was a little bit different. You posted a few videos and you actually willed it to be. I think the first video you captioned was, "I'm posting about coffee until I go viral," and indeed you did. Can you walk us through that first viral moment and what happened next so you knew it wasn't just luck?
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, the first video that I ever posted was making coffee until it blew up. And this was around the COVID time. And I saw a lot of other creators going viral and posting videos. And I've always just been determined to, I don't know, like make it in whatever I kind of put myself in. And so I just decided that I was going to keep posting videos until it blew up. But I think the main moment when I realized that it wasn't just like luck was the feeling of getting like the first ever brand deal, like posting a video. Like my first ever brand deal came from Yeti, and it was after posting a video making Liz coffee before she went to work. And so I literally saw it come to fruition, like posting a video using a Yeti cup. And then a few days later, Yeti saw the video, saw the cup, was like, "Hey, do you want to collaborate on a post?" And to me, that was like, okay, wow, like I can post something, put something out there, and then a brand could potentially come reach out to me, and there could be like real, tangible money associated with it.
Yeah, and you can really see the authenticity as the through line there. It was a product you already used, it was integrated in your life. And then obviously on the flip side, you're getting paid now to use that product, which is the way you want it to be. That's the ideal.
Yeah, exactly.
For you, Liz, when did you realize that this could be a real business for you, the social media thing? I know that Ethan had left a well-paying job to pursue social media. So what was the tipping point where you said, "Yeah, let's go all in," or "I'm comfortable with you going all in"?
So last year, I left my job about like 14 months ago, and Ethan had a really big rebrand planned where we redid all the packaging and came out with new products. And I could tell how hard he had been working on it. And I kind of was at a point where I was like, oh man, that sounds fun. I want to be more involved in it. I had been helping him with like coming up with the name and some of the design, but he did some product launches and they sold out, and I would help him pack the orders and get the boxes from my previous work of employment. But I knew it was something bigger when he would throw out like big goals, and I thought he was insane. I thought him saying like, "Oh, we're going to do like 80 grand or 100 grand." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." Like that's what I, thought was great to make in a year at my old job. But eventually I kind of just like trusted him because I saw his vision, and I was like, I want to jump on board full time because this is more exciting than what I had been doing. I loved my job before, but I just was like really committed to kind of like helping him build his dream.
If we take a step back, you had mentioned when we were talking about this call that it kind of started with a drop model and you've moved into a really scalable business. Can you talk about how you started? What did those drops look like? And what does growth look like now from a viability standpoint, how you've scaled?
Yeah, so when we first launched it was originally just the tasting glass. We launched 100 sets. We had 200 sets, 100 sets of clear glasses and 100 sets of amber glasses. At the time, we were like the only glassware company to have amber colored glasses. We thought that was really cool, but those sold out almost immediately. And then we did a second drop, which was a little bit more units. It was like 250 units of each. And those ones also sold out. And then the third drop, we actually added espresso glasses, which were basically just miniature versions of the tasting glasses. I don't remember the exact units we ordered at the time, but those also sold out. And so then we started thinking, okay, well, the drop model is great, but there are so many people who, for whatever reason, just couldn't get their hands on the cups. And I'm like, there are so many people out there. The demand is so high for this product. And that's really where Liz kind of comes into the equation, because she is so good at like making sure all of the operations are like intact, making sure we have enough inventory, making sure that fulfillment is going smoothly, and that like, carriers are coming to pick up our orders and all of that kind of stuff, which I was very bad at the time. Like we were almost always out of stock, you know, when we weren't doing drops. Like after the third drop, we kind of swapped the models to like, okay, let's have inventory always in stock, because I personally don't think that, while some people do it, like the drop model is the best model. I like having inventory always in stock. I think it's just more sustainable that way, and also scalable.
Yeah, when we transitioned from the drop model to then like he had me full time helping him manage all the logistics, that's when it truly became like a company. We were building and growing because we had to fulfill customer orders every single day. It wasn't just like 1 week out of every third month that we had to pack orders. It was all the time. So we kind of like outgrew our garage. We got a warehouse. We got in Crate and Barrel. We're like, we need a bigger warehouse because we're growing so fast. So like, what would you say our first weekend? We were like, oh, cool. We did like 40 grand. Like that's nice. And then every month onward, it just kept growing. So, you know, 40 grand to 80,000, and then, you know, 140,000 plus per month. So we're really excited to see that continue growing, but it's
pretty incredible.
Thanks.
You guys grew, and when we were talking about it, it's so scalable. It was 35 to 40 to 60 to 80. Like the way you were growing, it really makes sense. And you're not just jumping exponentially, you're really growing with the business and learning and operationalizing. I think that's something that for the people in the room and our marketers, that they'd be interested in understanding is what's the difference here when you're thinking about scaling an audience on socials versus building customers? How are you thinking about those users differently, and how are they transitioning between your audience that you're building of really coffee loving folks and moving them into that customer base?
I know this is going to sound a little crazy, but I don't think of them any different. I actually think of them the exact same way. I was telling Liz about this when we were kind of preparing about this call. Is like a great example of this is I post a series called Coffee for Under $1, where I show people how to make coffee drinks for under $1 at home. And literally in the video say, I'm doing this so you have more money to spend on Fleur glasses. Like, I feel like at this point in my like creator journey, almost all of the content that I make has Fleur integrated at some part. Like every single video has either a Fleur glass in it, or it's either behind the scenes of the warehouse, or like what we're working on. And so like when I'm thinking like, okay, how am I going to convert like the 3 million people that I have that follow me into customers? It's just keep giving them valuable content and hope that they see the cup and that they want to come buy the cup. So I really don't think of it really any different. I think of them all as potential customers at some point.
I think that makes perfect sense. And that is so reflected when we talked about your creator acquisition costs being around $4. The industry average was about 58. So what you're saying is the customers and the audience really that's engaging with your content, seeing it naturally integrated into your content. They're naturally transitioning. They're supporting you on the other side, and you're sharing the behind the scenes, which is making them obviously a really easy to convert customer too. Something else you shared was around a bit of a operational nightmare where you had some shipping issues and how you dealt with that. Can you share with everybody what happened there and how you were able to bring that personal touch in and capture the trust of your audience in that situation?
Yeah. So this was kind of like that big launch we did last year, new packaging. We were shipping in like semi trucks of product at that point. So it was big for us, and we decided like we had a grip on when our inventory was going to arrive. The tracking said like X date. So we decided to do like a pre-order type strategy because we were confident in the product, and lo and behold, it was not on time. So about a week and a half went by, and we had taken these pre-orders, and the ship date had like it was far gone behind us, and we had customers that were getting impatient, and we were having to figure out like what are we going to do. So Ethan would actually like send emails from Ethan to these customers and say like, hey, we're on it. We know like it's taking longer than expected. And immediately everyone was at ease. He would post like on his socials, like what kind of stories you would Just put up like a video of you
Like-
talking, saying like, "Hey."
Like, hey, just so you guys know, the shipment is going to be here in a couple of days and I'll
Yeah.
ship them out. But I think something that maybe some of the marketers or people that are in the chat can take away from this is, I think as marketers, we're always so focused on like, how can we use creators to get more customers? Not like, how can we use creators to make the customers that we maybe already have lifelong customers? Like if you have like customer service issues and you have like the creator that gave you the affiliate link or something reaching out to you saying, hey, I'm sorry that this is delayed or something, like the response that you're going to get is going to be
Oh, I wonder if they did get hit by that wind.
I don't know what happened. Sorry.
You're back. Okay.
I don't know what happened. I think it like timed out or something. I don't remember where I cut off exactly, but yeah, I think that response that you get from, having a creator or like somebody that's integrated within the business responding to the customer emails, as tedious as it sounds, goes such a long way.
Yeah, I think when we think about creator marketing, that really is the crux of what it's all about. It's that authenticity, the expertise that you build with your audience translates. And it really is what drives things forward and also reduces that CAC. Obviously, when you have that easy conversion because they already trust your opinion, that's half the battle. And that's what creators are really exceptional at. Can you talk about other ways that you think about building trust with your audience and how the trust that you have on the Instagram and social side translates to business trust?
Yeah, I think so. The way I look at Fleur's marketing and like just social strategy is really two different avenues, and it's the brand page, which I don't do a whole lot as far as like trying to. I guess I really wouldn't say that, but the brand page is more like curated, polished, high quality content. I look at the brand page as more of like a showroom, or like this is like going to set the tone for what the brand is and how people should think about it. And then I use my personal page as the page where I can be very authentic, show behind the scenes, maybe do a collaboration post with the brand and show like that, I'm part of this brand and there's that. But I feel like one thing that I learned is like at the very beginning of starting Fleur was like, nobody is going to care about your business as much as they care about you. So you have to get them to care about you first. So for me, I just didn't see the value of posting like this really authentic, like human content, if that makes sense, on the personal brand page. Like people scrolling are going to see that it's a brand page. It's just like, it's not going to resonate the same way if it was from like my page. So those are like the two avenues that I look at it. So if like there's anything authentic or like behind the scenes, I'm always going to post it on my personal page versus the Fleur page.
Yeah. You almost have the building businesses behind the scenes. You're taking your audience along for the journey with you. And I think that's something we're starting to see almost as a trend within socials as well, is the entrepreneurship journey. Oh no. Sorry, everyone. Just make sure they get back. Okay. I think we've lost sound.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
We were using a webcam before, but it kept overheating or something. I don't know.
Nope,
Sorry.
that's okay. We can see you again.
Cool.
Kind of following the same through line, a lot of brands struggle with creator partnerships because the content feels forced, which is exactly, I think, what you're alluding to with how you have your Fleur page and your personal page. In your instance, you guys essentially are the creators, you're the behind the scenes. What do traditional brands get wrong when they work with influencers? What's your POV on how brands can do it better?
The brands that I've found that I've worked the best with usually have a brief of some sort. I know that's like very elementary, like everybody has a brief, but the brief is actually really important. The brief I found that are the most helpful are the ones that just give you like data of just like, hey, just so you know, these are like the posts that have performed the best for us. Also, these are like the hooks that perform the best for us. And these are the products that we offer that are the best sellers. And there's really no guidelines for the creator. They can just do whatever they want with that data. Like they can choose to follow, the hooks. They could choose to use those products if they want to, but it's entirely whatever the creator's vision is for the post that they're making. I found that those work the best versus like, I know it seems like everybody talks about this, but like when the brief is just so structured and it's like you have to say these 3 key selling propositions or points, it's like, who says that? Nobody says that.
Anyone scrolling on their phone can sniff out that advertisement in like 2 seconds and keep scrolling. So I think you hire the creator to do their thing and be creative, so allow them to trust them that they understand their audience, and Ethan knows the best video that his audience will enjoy.
Yeah. So I think using those things as like starting points and just letting the creator be as creative as they want, because at the end of the day, that's like some of the most valuable information. It's like the same reason why if I'm going to go do like product research, I'm going to go look at the reviews and see what the customers are saying about the product. It's kind of the same way. It's like at like a very baseline level, I think influencers are just like very high quality salespeople in a way. They're kind of just like influencing you to do whatever they're doing. So they're like some of the best salespeople that we have. So just like let them show you what the selling points are of your product. Like, what are these people going to say about the product, and just give them to people in different niches or whatever, and just see what they have to say.
I know that was something that you guys did when you first launched, is you sent out PR packages that were, I think you said like $200 in value to people all across the space. Can you talk about what that strategy was and the content that came out of that, and what that strategy had on your business?
Yeah. So for me, it was like, at first I wasn't doing anything with creators. It was just me. And that was like our first couple of drops. Then I realized, okay, I should really start looking into this, creator thing, because it's working well for me. I should just reach out to other ones. And so my thought on it was always just a longer term play. And the way I started was I would start by going on social media and like just start by scrolling, and anybody that seems sort of interesting, I would follow. And I wouldn't reach out to this person for like 6 or 7 months. I would follow them, and then I would start engaging with all of their posts, responding to their stories, until maybe they recognized me or followed me back or something. And a lot of the times, like I'll give you a great example. There's this guy, I'm really good friends with him now. His name's Chris, but he does bartending content online. And I originally followed him because I liked his content. And then a few months go by, I see he just got a Breville espresso machine. I'm like, oh my gosh, no way. So I swiped up on his story and I'm like, hey dude, I just saw that you got a Breville espresso machine. I do content around coffee and I have a glassware business. I'd love to send you cups if you're interested. No caveats, no contracts, nothing. And he was like, dude, I would absolutely love that. Send them, this is the address or whatever. It's like the only cup he uses now. But like that didn't come to fruition until like 6 months after I followed him. And I've done that with every single influencer that I work with. It's not like, I think a lot of people just have this idea, let's just like send a templated email to like 1,000 creators and see who messages us back. It's like, I just don't think that's going to go very far. And if it does, if you get people that are like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'll take your PR package, it's just like, they just want free product. Like they're not going to post with your product or even really care about it.
Yeah. I think that's so interesting. Right now, we're seeing such a trend where people are like donating their PR or taking themselves off PR lists for that exact reason, where they've gotten on this list at some point, but they have so much makeup or whatever it might be that they don't need anymore. And it's not an authentic relationship. Whereas what you're saying is you're really fostering that authenticity, making sure that it resonates with their audience as well. And whether it's coffee inspired or beverage inspired, like a beer or a cocktail, there's a through line there that makes the partnership make sense. And then there's an opportunity for it to extend beyond just a single post or a hope and a dream to a real partnership that has legs and potentially has product potential downstream. And maybe there's a cocktail that you come up with downstream. Like the world becomes your oyster at that point.
We were literally just talking about, I was like, if we ever do barware, Chris, we are partnering with Chris. This is the guy. Like we've built a relationship where now we like respond to each other's stories, and like we were going to meet up. I was in Vegas, whatever. We're going to meet up for like a drink. It's like, now it's like a real friendship. This is not like I'm hiring him to do paid work. This is like a real long-term relationship that I fostered by just following the guy.
Yeah.
And like truly caring. But like on the note of like, how do I find these creators, or like, what do I look for in creators? Like, what's interesting? All the algorithms now are just based off of an interest graph. So like if you post about coffee, it's going to send your video to people who like coffee. It's not really like, oh, if you have 100 million followers, you're going to automatically get seen by 100 million people. It's just not how it works. And so the biggest tall tale sign of like, if this creator is interesting, is if their comment section, regardless of the video, has the same type of people always commenting. And, you can tell, I mean, you go into a comment section, you can tell if this person has a true, engaged audience, because like I was saying with the interest graph, like the same people are not always going to see every single video unless you have this like super strong community where they just they support you regardless what the content is. And the algorithm knows that they're going to support you regardless. So I think I always look at the comment section to see like, not a number, not like, oh, what's this person's engagement rate or whatever. I just like will literally go there and like read every single comment, and then go to their page and like read all of those comments too. And go on Instagram and like read all of theirs.
I think what you're alluding to is the depth of the relationship, not the breadth of the relationship, and really honing in on those that are deeply engaged in those communities that have truly been fostered by a creator, versus just focusing on reach and engagement numbers, which we all know are vanity to some extent and don't really tell the whole picture. Yeah. I think with the last 3 minutes here, I'd love to kind of put a bow on things. And for the people in the room, if you're advertising to the marketers in this room and providing them with some immediate takeaways, what is the one thing they should stop doing immediately?
I think tying it into what I was just saying is like, stop scrolling on social media like a consumer, and start scrolling like a strategist, like what you are. Like, start scrolling intentionally on social media, because I think every comment section is like a little focus group for your product. And
I love that.
Yeah.
And then what's one thing that marketers should start doing this quarter? You kind of said it there, but maybe there's another piece of advice you can take in.
I think even more so is like, if you do already work with affiliates or creators, start treating them like if they were like sales reps at your company. If you think about like sales reps, when you onboard a new sales rep, it's like you give them education about the company, about the product. Maybe give them a little free product. You give them training. You give them weekly follow-up calls. You give them monthly follow-up calls. You give them bonuses. Like, that should be all same stuff that you have implemented for your affiliates too. So maybe just in one word, treat affiliates like sales reps for your company.
Right. And invest in them the same way you would the people who are in-house, because they're driving those sales for you. They're driving that community. They're driving that reputation. And they really are the face of a lot of these businesses.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
A lot of people overlook it. They're just like, here's your code. Go post it on your story.
Yeah. And that deep authenticity, I think, is what I'm hearing from you time and time again.
Yeah.
With the last minute here, if there's any questions, we can drop them in the chat. There is a questions tab down at the bottom there. While we wait for any questions to come in, I guess we can take a few kind of ad hoc questions. First one here is, how do you maintain brand authenticity while scaling and introducing new collaborators or retail partners, like your example with Crate and Barrel?
I'm trying to think what we did for our Crate and Barrel.
We really have focused a lot on ironing out like any operational hiccups that the existing customers or potentially new customers would have any sort of negative thought around. So it would be great to be in like every retailer in the country, but I would rather be in one and do that one partnership really well and have Crate and Barrel just like selling these things, flying off the shelves, and the customers loving them. So I think we've had to take a kind of like approach where we'd rather just do one thing and do it really well than like just scale everywhere. So that's kind of a focus we have on with everything in our business, is like, okay, just focus on this one thing, do it really well, and then move on to the next thing.
I love that. We are right at time. So as we go, maybe you can let us know what your go-to coffee order is, and then we'll send everyone on their way.
It is a cortado, which is equal parts espresso and steamed milk. It's about
It's
one
good.
of those
Yeah.
glasses. We actually, shameless plug, we have a cortado glass coming out very shortly. It's a small glass. It's about 4
Cute.
ounces in size. And yeah, 2 ounces of espresso, so 2 shots of espresso, steamed milk. It's delicious. It's strong. It gets you going.
Beautiful. And Liz, yours?
I usually go for some sort of vanilla latte. I'm very basic, but
Usually it's ice, but lately it's been hot. We have a little series going on. You can follow along. It's her trying to pour latte art, and we've only done one day, but day 2 is coming soon. So now she's been practicing. She's like, let's do a hot latte so I could try to pour a heart or something. But yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Ethan and Liz. This
You
has
guys.
been a ton of fun. Lots of great insights. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Cool. Thank you guys.